Today I'm taking you through one of the most unexplored zones of the rainforest. And yes, it's humid as hell.
We created this video using VEO3. Yes, it will forever change how we create and consume content. It can create impressive visuals with matching SFX. We are reaching a point in history where it will be impossible to differentiate between what's real and what's not. Professions like filmmaking, content creation, and marketing will either have to adapt to this change or risk being irrelevant. Now let's check out how we can automate content creation with VEO3. Previously, we have created a lot of automations like YouTube Shorts automation, Instagram automation, CGI ad creation, and animation creation. But VEO3, the results can be much more impressive. This is an opportunity for you to make thousands of dollars. Just utilize our blueprints, integrate them with VEO3, and sell them as a product or service. Here is an example of an automation system that we created using VEO3. Unlike previous videos, today I'm going to demonstrate the solution using two platforms, that is N8N and Make.com. So you can see the scenario I built in N8N and here in Make.com. So this will cover both the audience who follow us, that is mainly using Make and N8N. So let's come to the workflow. I'll start with Make.com. So the whole idea here is, there are a lot of updates going on science and technology. So I'm going to watch here the top news headlines related to science and technology, and I'll pick one from them. I mean, the OpenAI will pick and create cool video out of it. So let's see here. So I have started with the HTTP request in make.com. So there's a make a request module. So here I have configured the news API. So we have a platform that is known as News API. You can see over here, and then you can go to the documentation simply, and then you can see the documentation for top headlines. So we have covered this in our previous video on top tech news automation. So here you can see there is API, a get request with the top headlines, and then you can see the request parameter. So simply copy this, and then you can configure the method and the news URL over here, and the API key and the country. So we prefer for US, and category is science as I mentioned, and the page size to be 10. So once this is done, right, you can simply map the output from this news API to iterator. So let me show you the output. So it's running. So you can see once I run the news API, we can get the articles. So we got 10 articles here. So different tech news. So you can see the news are populated here, right? So cool. So we have the news, and this is an array, or like you can see it's an array of articles. So just push it to an iterator. So the whole idea is, let's combine all the articles together with all the variables, I mean the key names, and push to OpenAI. So I just map it to the iterator module. You can find the iterator over here. Yeah. So this is the iterator module. So map the array articles from here, and then you can use test aggregator. So test aggregator you can find over here, and in test aggregator what we do, we map the news position, news 1 2 3, and the source, and you can see the description, title, image URL, and the date as well. So it will aggregate entire news, and then we are going to use the main master brain, that is the OpenAI. So we have used the OpenAI module, create a completion. So you can see the module over here, create a completion, and then in this module, like the first task is, so we have 10 articles, right? So it's an article array. So we are asking OpenAI to choose the best one. So you can see I've selected the model and then provided a role as developer or system, and said you are an AI assistant specialized in gathering content based on science news article. Your task is to analyze a given set of 10 science news article, select the most suitable one, and then we gave special instructions like do not add any introduction or outro when providing the output, only provide a detailed paragraph of the content, etc. And in the user field, so you can see in the user field we map the test, that is the aggregated article from the test aggregator. So we just map this test variable, and then that's it. So we just made it, and then we saved it, and then we connected another OpenAI module, same, create a completion. And the whole idea here is create the visualized scene, right, for the video. So you can see the prompt over here. I just put under developer system. You are a world-class prompt engineer specializing in 8-second video generation using VEO3 model, Your job is to take a topic or piece of content and turn it into a highly descriptive cinematic video prompt. And so it will create a prompt that is best for our video using VEO3, right? And we have given the scene setup like location, time of day, atmosphere, visual style, and camera angles should be included in the prompt, and option like lighting, weather. And we said be clear, concise, and descriptive, and output only the final video generation prompt. So we have given the JSON format. It is with the key prompt, and you can see over here how the structure should look. And in the user field, we map the result from the previous module. So the previous OpenAI will give you the best article, will choose the best article, and we'll map over here. And this OpenAI will give you the best prompt to generate the video. And then let's go. And in the response format, just select JSON object. So JSON object is selected. And finally, we come into the right action. So VEO3 is available in Fall AI. Fall AI is a generative media platform for developers having a lot of models combined together. So here you can simply sign into Fall AI. So once you sign in, you can come to the dashboard and go to the API keys and copy the API key. So let me go and show you. So you can generate the API key under API key and add the key, right? And then if you come back, you can see on the dashboard the apps available. So you can simply go to the apps and go over the VEO3 model. So opening VEO3, you can see playground, API, and examples. So going to the API section, you can see how the VEO3 can be configured using Fall AI. But we have Fall AI already in Make. So let's go, and you can search here Fall AI, and you can see, you can go over here. Unfortunately, we don't have any video generation module, so that is missing. So we go with make an API call module as usual, and under that just we need to add the connection with the API key, and then map the URL VEO3/VEO3. So you can find this in detail in the documentation. So if you go over here under the table of contents, you can see calling API, and you can see for the video generation, so it's clearly written over here. Let me zoom in. You can pass /VEO3, and you can see the data is mapped with the prompt. And then if you scroll down in detail, you can see the schema, like you can include prompt, aspect ratio, duration, negative prompt, etc. So we just mapped all these under the body as JSON. You can see it is prompt, aspect ratio, duration, enhance prompt, generate audio. So everything is there. So we just map it, and under the prompt, we'll map the prompt available or generated from the previous OpenAI module. So we are all set with the Fall AI, and then this will trigger the video generation, and we are allowing 250 seconds of delay so that it will get some time to generate the video. And once it is generated, we'll go and get the response. So it takes some time to render the video, and finally we can use the module here, get a response, and to that module we just map the request ID. So the request ID is generated from the previous module. So map the request ID over here, and we'll get the video ready, and then we simply post to Instagram. So that's all about make scenario. Now let's go and run this make scenario, and guys, we have to wait definitely 250 seconds. So let me run and see how the output comes. So let's do. So we got the news API, we got the aggregated test over here, see news 1, news 2, and then we got the content selected. It's all about NASA's $488 million dollars Earth mission. And then we got the prompt for the scenery. So it's saying that a cinematic nighttime space scene showcasing NASA's Spirit's telescope orbiting Earth against a backdrop of stars and galaxy. A cinematic prompt is ready, right? And then finally we gave the request in Fall AI. So it's there, and you can see the status is in queue. And let's wait for 250 seconds to get it generated. Finally, it has run, and let's see the output in get a response module. So we have the video URL here. Let's go and play it. So let me see how is it.
NASA's $488 million SphereX mission will map the entire sky twice a
Cool, right? So that's the awesome feature of VO3, right? Creating cool video as per our prompt. And now let's go back to the make scenario. The output of this file AI, that is a VO3 generated video, can be used to generate Instagram reel, faceless videos, right? Posted to YouTube or any other platforms, and that would be a cool use case. Now let's go to N8N and see how the same workflow can be configured there. So in N8N, you can see the idea is same. So we have the news API, but I started with a manual trigger here. So you can see when you go to the plus symbol and click manual trigger, so you can see the manual trigger option. So this is just to test the workflow. So the best part of this is just by clicking test workflow, it will run the scenario. So let's come back. So I just configured the test workflow button, and it's nothing but a simple module or node. And then we have used the news API. So for the news API, you can again configure the HTTP node. So you can see the HTTP request over here and just click over there. It's the same thing what we did in Make. So we went to the news API, copied the get request, and you can see get request, and then the query parameters are available, right? So we selected the generic auth type as query auth, and then provided the parameters like name, country, US, category, signs, page size 10. And we have also configured the authorization key, that is the name as API key and the API key value. So we have this ready. So let's go and just run till this. Yeah, let's see how it goes. So you can get the output over here. Let me show you. So we have status, total results 70. And you can see the array of articles, right? Array 0, array 1, all the articles is there. If you recollect in Make, we iterated across the array of articles and then combined as a single test. So instead of using those iterator test aggregator, here in N8N we are using the code node. So simply go to the plus and just type JavaScript or code. You can see the node code, and you can simply connect this over here. And under the code, we need to write the code. And here you don't have to scratch your head because of this code, because we have the AI to help us. So in the AI, you can type, I have an array named articles from previous module, aggregate as a single test with all fields included. And just go and click generate code, and you will get the code ready. And you can simply click on test step, so that it will show the output. Let's see. So we got the aggregated test here. So we have the test here, aggregated one, all good. And then finally, we have to come to the OpenAI master brain. So go and connect the OpenAI module by clicking the plus search OpenAI. And here you can see messenger model. So select the messenger model. And here, if you remember, the first objective on the OpenAI module or node is to say that we have 10 articles, choose the best one. So the same prompt we have provided over here. And you can see we have mapped the aggregated test as well from the previous module. And then the second OpenAI module, as usual, we connected to create the scenery, right? So as we mentioned, for VO3, we need the prompt having the scenes and how the video should look like. So we have provided the same prompt. So you can see the system prompt is there, and we map the content from the previous module. So that is there. So it's simple. So if you execute the previous node over here, you can get the mapping. So I'll just show you. So executing previous node means it is executing the previous OpenAI module. So once it is done, so just simply you can come and map the content here. See this? Yeah, so it is mapped over here. So that's done. And then finally, coming over here, we have the file AI configuration. So it's same, we are using the HTTP request like we use for the news headlines. And the difference is we don't have the native module unlike in Make. So let's go to the file AI API. So over here, you can see we have the request type is post, URL is mentioned over here, q.file.run. So just copy this URL and the method. So post is there, URL is there. And the authorization type is header authorization, because if you go to the documentation, it has the headers with authorization key and the file API key. So the same way you can go here in N8N, select header auth and add the key. So here you can see authorization, and here the value. So the value should be in the same format, key space file API key. All right, and then let's come back. We had the JSON, the same JSON we inputted in makes API call module, where we pass the prompt, aspect ratio, duration, enhance prompt, and generate audio feature. And once this is done, simply we have to wait. So we have used the wait module for 180 seconds, 250 seconds, 250 would be the best, and we have provided this. And finally, the final HTTP request is all about getting the response. So to get the response, again we use the get method, and you don't have to do anything. So if you execute the previous node, we'll get the response URL, that is like if I go back and show you here the fall.ai, right? So in fall.ai we have the response URL. So that will be the output in N8N as well in this previous module. So I just mapped it after execution, that is the response URL. And then finally we have selected the header authorization type, that is header auth, and given the connection. So connection, if it's already available, you can select, and that's it. So we are done. And then you can easily connect to Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, etc. So let's go and run this as well and see how the output looks. Yeah, so it's running. The OpenAI module is in progress. The visual representation of the flow, right, in both the platform Make and N8N is totally different. And now here we have to wait. Let's wait for 3 minutes. Yeah, yes, finally we got the response module run. So let's open it, and we got the URL over here. So let's copy this and then open. Let's try this.
Through its further report, NASA's $488 million SphereX mission will map the entire sky twice a year in 3D, capturing...
Looks cool, right? So this is how the video is generated using N8N. Whether you are a freelancer, agency, or solo creator, you can replicate this automation, package it as a product or service, and start monetizing your skills. Subscribe for more AI hacks.